Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Lovely Inspirations. I'm on a journey of improving my health one habit at a time. And today I'm going to be focused on the aspect of spiritual health. I just finished reading the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis, and I love this book. I'm going to be sharing 5 things that I've learned from this book. It was quoted by Dr. Marvin Jackson that we should have knowledge of 3 people: knowledge of ourselves, knowledge of God, and knowledge of our enemy. So C.S. Lewis does a wonderful job taking us behind the scenes of a senior level demon mentoring his nephew on how to tempt a young man. And so he uses all these different strategies and techniques, and it's just so eye-opening that a lot of these strategies and techniques may be the same ones that are used on us. So I'm just going to point out 5 principles that I think that are very applicable to our lives and that we should just be more aware of. The first one is that if the enemy can be successful at tempting us at one level, he will use that same tactic on a graduated level. Screwtape is the senior demon. His nephew is Wormwood. Okay, and so they are tempting this young man, but now they are discussing his mother, okay, and how the demon Glubos has been successful with her. So just listen to this snippet of this chapter, okay? The real value of the quiet, unobtrusive work which Glubos has been doing for years on this old woman can be gauged by the way in which her belly now dominates her whole life. The woman is in what may be called the all I want state of mind. All she wants is a cup of tea properly made, or an egg properly boiled, or a slice of bread properly toasted. But she never finds any servants or any friend who can do these simple things properly, because her properly conceals an insatiable demand for the exact and almost impossible palatal pleasures which she imagines she remembers from the past. Something that's insatiable. She has a desire that can't be met because as she grows older, her taste buds changes, but she still wants this. She's still longing for something properly made, okay? And it's become a foothold for the enemy because she holds it up in such high regard that it takes control over her emotions. Goes on to state, meanwhile, the daily disappointment produces daily ill temper. Cooks give notice and friendships are cooled. So this little preference that she has, it seems little, actually used right from the demon's perspective to get in the way of her attitude. His temptation now is for the son. And he's saying, okay, if we can tempt her son in a way with the same concept, not with the excess of food, but through delicacy, to where that's all he's chasing is, the right type of steak being made or whatever, then he can actually tempt him in the areas of chastity. So it's a whole strategy behind this that I really believe that they actually do this in our lives, okay? The second strategy is to be yourself. It has more power than you know. The deepest likings and impulses of any man are the raw material, the starting points with which the enemy has furnished him. To get him away from those is therefore always a point gained. Okay, so basically the things that we have that we really enjoy, our truest talents, our truest interests, ideas, those are things that the Lord placed inside of us. And once we really build upon those things and we're honoring the authenticity, it's something to where it's glorifying God, and it's almost like God is within us. But once we start to divert away from the things that we truly are, that's within us, it can be used as a temptation. The man who truly and disinterestedly enjoys any one thing in the world for its own sake and without caring 2 pence what other people say about it is by that very fact forearmed against some of our subtlest modes of attack. You should always try to make the patient abandon the people or food or books he really likes in favor of the best people, the right food, the important books. I have known a human defended from strong temptations to social ambition by still a stronger taste for tripe and onions. See, once we are true to our authentic selves, our talents, our interests, those things that we really like, that God's placed inside of us, then we honor him, and it guards us from the temptations of the enemy. Once we actually start to lay those things down because of other people's preference, because we want to be liked or we want to do what everybody else is doing, then that can be used to go down the wrong road. The third principle that I learned is that emotions don't make prayers successful. So that's taken from letter 4, and it says here, keep them watching their own minds and trying to produce feelings there by the action of their own wills. When they meant to ask him for charity, let them instead start trying to manufacture charitable feelings for themselves and not notice that this is what they are doing. When they meant to pray for courage, let them really be trying to feel brave. And when they say they are praying for forgiveness, let them be trying to feel forgiven. Teach them to estimate the value of each prayer by their success in producing the desired feeling. See, a lot of times, and I've done this, we pray and we put the emotion in and we try to conjure up all these feelings in the moment. And then if we feel that way for that moment, then we feel like our prayers have been answered. This can be a tactic of the enemy because we're putting our feelings, the result of our feelings, in placement of our faith in what God is going to do for us. So we don't need to have these emotions tied to these prayers to make them successful. We need faith in what we're praying for, and faith in God that he hears us and that he is going to bring it to pass. Fourth principle that I learned was the law of undulation. Okay, undulation just basically means a cycle of going up and down, right? A lot of times in life, that's what we as humans go through. We have troughs and we have peaks, and it's found in everything. It's found in our emotions, it's found at work or at home or relationships. Not going to be steady in our emotions all the time. In letter 8, this is truly my favorite letter in the whole book because it is so awesome to hear from a demon's perspective how God uses these moments of our lives and how the enemy looks at it and tries to use the same moment. But listen to this. It is during such trough periods, much more than during the peak periods, that it is growing into the sort of creature he wants to be. Hence, the prayers offered in the state of dryness are those which please him best. Okay, so they're talking about the Lord, okay? We can drag our patients along by continual tempting because we designed them only for the table. And the more their will is interfered with, the better. He cannot tempt, they're talking about God, cannot tempt to virtue as we do vice. He wants them to learn to walk and must therefore take away his hand. And if only the will to walk is really there, he is pleased even with their stumbles. Do not be deceived, Wormwood. Our cause is never more in danger than when a human no longer desiring, but still intending to do our enemy's will, looks round upon a universe from which every trace of him seems to have vanished and asks why he has been forsaken and still obeys. So I love that. I love that because it's so true that when we are in those valley seasons, that's when the most growth occurs. And it's during this time when we honor God, he is most pleased. Okay, anyone can honor him when we are on the peak. That's what everyone expects. But how much so is he pleased when we are in our valley and we don't see him coming through. We don't hear him. We don't see him, and we still obey. And it's not out of duty, but we still obey because we trust him. We trust that sooner or later we're going to be on that peak. But then the enemy sees us and he's like, oh, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity to make him think, or to make her or him think, that there will never be a peak, that this trough period is permanent. So many of us that's fallen because of this principle. Be encouraged, right? Because it will pass and we learn. Though we stumble, we get up and we learn and we grow. And that's the beauty of this walk. The fifth principle that I learned is small sins matter. This principle is found in letter 12. It states, you will say that these are small sins, and doubtless, like all young tempters, you are anxious to be able to report spectacular wickedness. But do remember, the only thing that matters is the extent to which you separate the man from the enemy. And remember, the enemy, they're talking about God, okay? It does not matter how small the sins are, provided that their cumulative effect is to edge the man away from the light and out into the nothing. Murder is no better than cards, if cards can do the trick. Indeed, the safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts. We as humans tend to put sins in categories. Okay, we think that murder and rape and all the violent, acts are the most sinful. But according to this, small little snippet, the enemy can take something small, and that whole concept of a compound effect is effective. Okay, so they can take something small, any type of distraction or any small thing, and over time, if it's inching our way away from the Lord and our destiny in God, then in the end, the enemy wins, because we have forfeited our calling on something based upon the cumulative of something that seems small. Okay, so small sins matter. This book is just such a great book. It's such a great eye-opener how the enemy strategizes against us. And it's not for fun. It's because he wants to steal, kill, and destroy. But we are encouraged because greater is he in us than he who's in the world, right? If you found this valuable, please like and comment and let me know which principle stuck out to you and why. Or if you read this book already and something else stuck out to you that I didn't mention, I would love to know what that was. Okay, so I hope you guys read it if you hadn't already. And have a great day. Stay aware and alert, okay, because we know that our enemy prowls around, but also stay encouraged because we know who already has the victory, okay? All right, I'll see you in the next video.